this topic, I'm going to be covering off surveys. So in the previous topics, we talked about focus groups and contextual inquiries as a means of gathering insightful, rich information about the needs of your users. Well, survey is more quant-based. So it's aimed at a larger sample size or large volumes of people who fill out the survey. And it's a great way for you to get sort of data-driven information about the behaviours and or the thoughts and opinions of your users. Typically, the questions in a survey are closed-ended. So what do I mean by closed-ended? Typically, they are yes-no answers, so they're easy to answer, or there might be multiple choice. They can include open-ended questions, such as, what's your thoughts and opinions on something? However, they're much more difficult to analyse. You have to imagine your survey might be completed by 50, 100 people, or thousands or hundreds of thousands. So being able to analyse a yes-no type question or multiple choice question, a question that has a definitive answer, will be much easier than a question that requires a participant to actually write and for you to be able to analyse every one of those answers. When would you typically run a survey? Well, it could be at the start of your project. Maybe you're looking at getting some, market demographical type information, so then you can understand who the users are and then be able to conduct more deeper qualitative type research. Now I'm going to talk about what's a good question to put on a survey and one that you want to go and avoid. So the first question, do you own a tablet? That's a really good one because the user can pretty much tell you yes or no. The second one is also good for a survey. How often would you? Because you can give them a range, once a week, once a day, a couple of times, an hour, so they can give you a definitive answer. However, the third one is speculative. Would you use feature X? Now they may say yes, they may say no, but you won't really know unless you were observing them using that feature. There's also other stuff that you need to think about for a survey, and I'm going to discuss that now. You need to make sure you cover the right audience. You need to be comfortable that the people who are completing your survey are right for the questions. You also need to think about the types of questions you're asking. Are they multiple choice? Are they yes and no? And also the order in which the questions appear. We typically find starting with difficult questions at the start and finishing off with easy questions at the end are better and allow you for, a higher completion rate for your survey. You have to assume that people's English may not be very strong, so the language you use will be very important in order to make sure you get a successful survey result. And finally, method of delivery. There are multiple ways you can deliver a survey. It could be online, it could be paper-based, it could be you walking around with a clipboard on the street, or it could be you picking up the telephone. You need to think about the method of delivery that meets your timeline, your budget, and and your capability. I want to talk to you guys about sample size and your target audience. There's a really nice analogy that a lady, Pamela Hunter, uses from the i6 Sigma website to liken a survey to soup tasting. Imagine you're making soup, and in order to taste the soup, you give the soup a few stirs and then you taste, and that gives you an indication of the entire taste for the soup. Same for surveys. Basically, you're targeting a small sample size or a small number of audiences, but you want to paint a picture of the entire population. So it's really interesting to stir or randomize your participants to make sure you're getting an even picture. Now I'm going to talk to you about some of the strengths and weaknesses to running a survey. One of the strengths to running a survey is that you can run it anywhere, so in any location. It could be international, so geography isn't an issue. Large sample size. You can run the survey with as many people as you want. Because it's quant in nature, means the analysis time won't necessarily be any longer. And also, it's flexible in terms of delivery. Telephone, face-to-face, paper-based, and online. However, one of the challenges to running a survey is the complex data. The data could be very complicated, and unless you can understand the information, you may misunderstand what the survey is telling you. Also, asking the right questions is crucial. And you need to try and spend a bit of time formulating the right questions to get the right answers. And finally, accessing the right audience. You need to make sure and be confident that the survey is being completed by the people that you want to complete the survey. So I've just been talking about surveys. Now you have a better understanding of when you can use it, some of the implications and some of the difficulties you may have, and some of the benefits of running a survey to help you understand who your users are. In the next topic, I'll cover off web analytics as another technique you can use to better understand your users and their behavior.